Hi, I'm Rowan, and today we're going to have a quickie. So we have a keyboard, and on that keyboard we have function keys, and 3 of them right here do this thing where we have volume down and volume up, and we have mute and unmute. Now, we expect those to work normally. But for some reason, after our last system update or for some period of time after doing some tweaks, if we clicked on any of those function keys, the volume would either shoot all the way up or shoot all the way down, or the mute would locked mute, and then we'd have to do a whole bunch of things to unmute it. And we weren't quite sure what was causing that. And we ended up doing all sorts of things with language settings and power keys, or what? Not power keys. What is that? What is that silly powder monkey? Power toys. Yes. We did stuff with power toys, and none of that made any sense. None of it all. And then it occurred to us that Windows had done an update, and at some point I know there's a Windows update that actually affected our BIOS. And we were thinking, what if something in the BIOS got tweaked that was causing this to happen? So we tried to boot in the BIOS. And normally we would just restart the computer, and we would have the great big gigabyte screen because we have the flash screen that comes up on initial boot, have the gigabyte info, and we would know what button to push to get into the BIOS. Well, that didn't happen. It just went into boot, and we were like, well, that's not normal. We don't remember that. And of course, that meant that we had to dork around and figure things out, and we tried to boot into, we tried using Windows to boot into the BIOS, and, well, nothing came up on our screens, and we were like, why would that happen? Why would both of our monitors not show the information when Windows was specifically told to boot into the BIOS? Then it occurred to us that we have built-in graphics as well as our video card, and evidently there's a setting in our BIOS that can use the built-in graphics as the primary display and then switch over to the video card after boot, so that, if something goes wrong, we can just plug in a monitor to our built-in graphics and see what's going on. Well, that's why it wasn't showing up, why the flash screen wasn't showing up, is because the video card got turned on after the built-in chipset for video. So that was part of the problem. We had to plug something into there. And then when we booted up, we found out that when we were typing, nothing was happening, and that's because the keyboard was connected to a USB hub that wasn't being recognized by the BIOS. The hub is recognized by Windows. So we had to unplug that from the hub and plug it into a USB port directly. Then we were able to get into the BIOS, and because, we were seeing the screen and not being able to do anything because the keyboard wasn't working. And then now that the keyboard was working, we were able to get into the BIOS, and that's when we were able to fix it so that, number one, the PCI slot is being used as the primary video, so we get the splash screen properly now. And number 2, we found absolutely nothing for the functionality of the volume, because, that was one of those harebrained check BIOS things that was on the internet. And something about keyboard settings being in the BIOS. I don't understand that. But it occurred to us that maybe being able to recognize the keyboard before a USB hub is involved might have something to do with that. So we tried that, and it turned out that now when we do our volume control on our keyboard, it works properly. It's amazing. Yeah, I think the actual solution was that we had to get the keyboard connected directly to the PC without a USB hub for this Windows functionality to work for the volume. And I don't remember that being a problem in the past, but then again, we didn't really use the keyboard volume keys that often. So it might have been a Windows update that actually messed this up, or it could be that the Windows update has changed something that the driver for the USB hub is having a problem with. But so here's something to check. If for some reason your keyboard starts acting weird, it doesn't respond before Windows loads up and you're smashing whatever key you think is supposed to get you into the BIOS, and if your keyboard's function keys aren't working exactly right, like the Windows level ones, the volume up, the volume down, and maybe even the Windows Shift S. Yes, the Windows Shift S. That was not working for us for a while also. And I think it has to do with the USB hub software, or the USB hub driver. So that's something to be aware of. Your USB hub may have outdated driver software, and it could be causing your special function keys and the special Windows commands to not work right. So bypassing that fixed it on our part, and maybe it'll fix it on yours. So hopefully this was helpful, educational, entertaining maybe, and hopefully this will be quick after we edit it. And so I do hope that this video was helpful, and that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time it is, you're having a great time. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye!